Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Wendy Wise, and I am the Assistant Director for Content Marketing at the American Chemical Society, specifically the Publications Division. And I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about some of the marketing data that we collect as an organization and how we organize that data and what we end up doing with it. And you can see, you'll find out it's not always so cut and dry in terms of when you collect as much information as we do, what do you do with it? So ACS, for those of you who don't know, is the official publisher of the American Chemical Society, and we started way back in 1879 with the publication of our flagship journal, JACS. We publish almost 50 journals in chemistry and its related fields, and we publish over 30 ebooks as well. So we're a big player when it comes to scientific publishing. We're averaging the launch of 2 new journals a year at this point over the past 5 years, and we have a universe of over 1 million researchers, authors, members, and institutional contacts that we keep just within our marketing database. Obviously, our universe is much larger, but we don't have their data yet. So we use marketing assets like social media, a robust email newsletter program, our newest blog, ACS Axial, which was launched last year, and other forms of paid media to gather this data and find out more about our users, or readers rather. So the ACS Publications marketing teams are divided into 3 buckets. There's the content marketing and outreach team, which is myself and my colleague, and we work to market our products to our end users, so our authors and our readers. We also have an institutional sales and marketing group, and they market to our librarians and deal with trying to optimize products for them. And we also have what we call our CNN sales and marketing group. CNN is the flagship magazine of the American Chemical Society, and they work to solicit advertising for that magazine. So altogether, we're a group of about 30 folks, and we all share access to the same marketing database or software services, including Salesforce, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. It's a CRM, and that's about revenue. Eloqua, which is our marketing automation platform. This is basically like an email program on steroids in which you can build landing pages and forms, and you can use that along with email newsletters to make decisions about what you want to do next with your customers. We also, all 3 of us, leverage the ACS Publications platform, which is all of our research articles, and we have just, like I mentioned before, started a blog, so we all utilize the blog for some of our content marketing. And we all have access to our social media accounts through Hootsuite as well. So I wanted to give you that background because it's a lot of groups, it's a lot of data, and we actually came to the decision to bucket the groups like that early in 2015 when we had a reorganization. And it was when we had that reorganization of team members, we realized we really needed to take a hard look at the data that we had gathered as a team within these different systems and figure out how to best optimize it. Because with over 50 journals and publications and librarians, we had a lot of data, a lot of different questions that we were asking, and it was all sort of jumbled together with no real strategy on the outset of what to do with it. So when we're looking at Eloqua, our robust email marketing program, we realized that we were duplicating fields like first name, last name. We would have a first name for CNN and last name for ACS Publications, and they'd really be the same person. So we wanted to take a look and figure out how to best optimize the integration with the 3 teams. We had over 150 fields that were part of the package that we bought with Eloqua, and we were overusing all of them. And the librarian sales group was a serious offender with about 30 types of fields that started with CCC, and I just wanted to CCC my way out of that conversation with them to get rid of those. So at the same time that we were doing this reorg, we were also really propelling our marketing with this new group, and we wanted to try different things, new things that gathered a lot of attention from our audience who were used to getting these like one-off emails, call for paper here, call for paper there, come to this conference and say hi. So we invested in some alternate programs that really sparked a lot of attention. programs like Snap App and Scratch It. I don't know if you've ever heard of these before, but they're really fun. We did a launch of our newest journal, ACS Omega, and we used this program called Scratch It, which is basically like a digital scratch-off. So, if you go to 7-Eleven and you buy a lottery ticket, and you can scratch some of the stuff off to see if you won something. Well, it's the same sort of premise, only in the digital format. And so we had a lot of success with gathering data using this new form of marketing, just bringing in the information. So we have this pool of data, and it's all disorganized, and we're bringing in more data, which is also making it a little bit more disorganized. So we had to figure out something. We had to just make something work here. Okay, and I have to make this work. Hold on. There we go. So we had to come up with a strategy. And so we sat down, the 3 teams, and we came up with this strategy. Now, I wrote it in 4 steps on the slide. I don't think it was really 4 steps. It was a lot of conversation and hair pulling. But for the purpose of this presentation, we're going to have 4 steps. So the first thing that we had to do was set some goals for our groups. For myself, it was coming up with our scientific area of interest to our end users. So we knew a lot of information about what journals they wanted to subscribe to, like JACS, but we didn't know within JACS what they were interested in, because JACS is multidisciplinary. So we had to find out, are they interested in material science or environmental science? So I worked with my fabulously brilliant colleagues in editorial development to come up with, some of whom are in the room right now, to come up with a list of scientific areas of interest that we could bucket people into so that we could find out more about them. And those work across journals too, because different journals will have the same, different scientific areas of interest. For my colleagues in the library and marketing group, for them it was important to find out the name of the institution that our end users were coming from, because we would find out, they'd have this email address, but they wouldn't tell us where they were coming from. And having that information that they could take back to their librarian contacts and say, here's what your users are really doing, became very important. And it's important for us too, on the marketing on the product side as well. And for my colleagues at CNEN, having the ability to know who had purchasing authority if they were targeting advertisers became very important, because they wanted to know who the right people to reach out to for sales were. So we set up those goals for ourselves, and knowing then what was important, we were able to slice and dice those 150 fields and narrow it down to 10 fields that we all felt were very important for us to move forward as a business and an organization. And of course, those CCC fields went right out the door. First thing. So the third step was clearing the clutter, getting rid of all those one-time use fields or the duplicates, the non-priority fields. And then the 4th step was analyzing those 10 fields to find out, of those 10 fields, how much of that data is complete. So, we might have 90% completion on the first name or the last name, and then we find, institution's very important, but we only have like 20% of the people in our database have that field completed. So knowing what we had to work towards, basically. So again, what we found with the field completeness, knowing that and moving forward with known targets for our organization as a whole. And having that knowledge has helped us shape the marketing content that we're creating, forms and surveys and email opt-ins and white papers. We're now asking for that information right up front. And we're gathering it and we're collecting it and we have a goal. And as we start completing more fields, we'll start adding new fields to this list of 10 that become important as business moves and different things become important in the marketplace. And it is allowing us to look forward too, not only to see what kind of data can we collect and use, but what kind of engagement people are taking within that data. So if you listen to the keynote this morning, he said that people will tell you one thing and they'll do something else. And that is totally true. And so that's why it's important for us to know engagement-wise what people are doing. And so now that we have this set of 10 that we're targeting and we're completing those fields, we can take a further look at what people are doing and link that with our database, our marketing automation database as well. And we're going to do this through site tagging, so bucketing people into groups like, oh yeah, they say they're interested in JACS, but really they're looking at energy and fuels. And so we'll be able to use that data then to give them the appropriate content that they want. And hopefully that will drive more engagement with us and they'll look at us in a better light. We also have something we call personas, and these are graduate students, for example, or emerging scientists, different people within our audience with different career levels or different ambitions, and we want to see what they're doing as well. We're finding that, like graduate students are really interested in finding out more about careers, so they're going to all of our career content. So, having that information and tying it back to a person, we can then offer them up that content to keep them engaged as well. And with new engagement comes new metrics, so I think that we're going to discover a lot in the next year or two about what people are doing and what they want to see, and hopefully this will drive us further as a business. So that's my story, and I think now we can open up the floor for questions.